never be a memory.
And what's going on, Read My Lips people? We are back. It's been an interesting couple of days, hasn't it? I think we finally got the Iowa results in. And it's interesting because, the media is saying, oh, Mayor Pete has won Iowa. And then, you see a lot of the progressive channels saying Bernie Sanders won Iowa. Nobody's really being truthful. Really, it's a virtual tie when you look at it. Even though Sanders did get more votes than Pete Buttigieg. I think 6,000 more votes than Pete. When you look at the numbers, it's a virtual tie. Do I trust those numbers? Absolutely not. Even Tom Perez came out saying there should be a recount. And it looks like there will be a recount. They were giving Duval some of Sanders' support. They were giving Warren some of Sanders' support. It was a clusterfuck, right? It was a clusterfuck, and not a good look. Not a great way to kick this shit off, right? So I'm glad that's essentially over. The only person that really benefited, the only two people that benefited from this were Joe Biden, because he absolutely flopped, but nobody's talking about his flop really, and Mayor Pete, because it looks like he's jumped 8% in New Hampshire. Such a clusterfuck that even Fox News got in on the action, because even that, when you got Fox News saying, holy shit, what the hell is wrong with you? Then you know you done fucked up. Take a look.
Mayor Pete, the supposed winner of Iowa, his senior campaign advisor helped hire his own wife's company to count his own candidate's votes. Yeah. Conflict of interest much? I mean, it's almost like in Venezuela when Hugo Chavez owned the voting machines, for goodness sakes. Her company owns Shadow Inc. Shadow Inc. counted the votes. Her husband's candidate won. And the conflict gets even worse. According to the Associated Press, Buttigieg's campaign gave $42,500 to Shadow Inc. Again, remember, Mayor Pete's advisor's wife runs the company. And now, this was all ahead of collecting the Iowa votes. Now, I just ask, what is wrong with these people? I mean, did no one at the DNC bother to ask Shadow, hey, have you been paid by any of the campaigns before using them? Are there any conflicts of interest, perhaps, that we should be aware of? Like, does your wife own the company? As in, do you have an ownership stake in these companies? The Buttigieg advisor is married to the woman who partly owns Shadow. This is so messed up. They're married, therefore, well, I guess he kind of, if she has any equity in the company, he kind of owns the company too. I mean, you cannot make this up.
So, yeah, not a good look. I'm over it. I'm done with it. All I can say is, if they don't go through this shit democratically without meddling, I will probably never vote Democrat again, unless it's Andrew Yang. Period. I don't care about future. That's it. Because I'm tired of the bullshit. This last election cycle has been ugly via the Democrats. Ugly. Doing the stupidest shit, from Russiagate to, pandering, to meddling, ignoring Yang, the CNNs and MSNBCs, calling them John Yang, Jeff Yang, getting just completely fucking up in every way, shape, and form, down to this dumbass impeachment. Nancy Pelosi knew that nothing would come from it and literally wasted everybody's time. Don't talk to me about principle. You didn't try to impeach George Bush. You don't give a fuck about principles. Complete waste of time. The Dems, the Dems have been screwing up. And this goes back to, Hillary screwing over Bernie. It goes back to even before that. When Hillary was going against Obama and the shit she was putting out. And this has just culminated. You guys have the perfect candidate in Andrew Yang right before your eyes. You pass him up. It's like a fucking soap opera. It really is. So, that's been going on. But, yesterday, I want to say it's yesterday, there was a CNN town hall. Good old CNN. Good old clusterfuck CNN. There was a CNN town hall, and Andrew Yang had an amazing night. All throughout my Twitter feed, all I saw was, who's this Yang guy? I love this Yang guy. This Yang guy's awesome. Yang, 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 Yang. And I fucking loved it. But he always does well when he does these kind of things. If you give that man a mic and have him stand on stage and talk to you, he'll sway you. He'll sway anybody. One of the biggest issues that Yang faced was knowing who the fuck he is, notoriety. Nobody knew who Yang was. That's one of the biggest issues. Nobody knew who Yang was. Look, I went to New Hampshire. I hung out with Yang for New Year's. And that's a story you tell people. Yo, I fucking hung out with a presidential candidate, like maybe the next president of the United States. I fucking hung out with Andrew Yang. And when they respond like, who's that? Ugh. And now it's your duty to tell him and explain who he is. But even still, just you telling him, just you yourself telling him, and then this person gets that information and leaves, but they're not hearing his name anywhere else, it really fucks shit up. That I never really understood just how important the media is in this shit. And I talk crap about the media all the time because I say I'm just a guy on YouTube. I shouldn't know more than you, and I shouldn't be doing a better fucking job than you. You got all the money in the world behind you to do the right shit, and you don't. And you guys pretend you don't know what the fuck you're doing, but you know what you're doing. It's just you're doing the wrong things. And, we got all these great content creators talking about Yang and pushing Yang, but the media really fucking matters because when you got people that are politically inept, when you got people who they're not in it, they're just Susie know nothings and Johnny every day, and really all they got is the news on TV. It is essential and it is crucial. And independent media is picking up more and more, but it's not to where it should be. Not yet, right? And look, as an example, look what Bloomberg did. He carpet bombed the media with ads, and now the guy's what, 8 to 10%? 8 to 10%. Absurd. And I got something to drop about Bloomberg and Yang in a later video. I'm not going to talk about in this video, but it's coming. But he carpet bombed the airwaves with ads and literally bought his way into relevance. Insanity. So we're having small celebrations. Yang did 16 mil. Yang did 1.2 mil in a day. Yang did this much in a week. And Bloomberg's just hemorrhaging money on this campaign. Here we are. Like I said, I think I talked about in a video, a guy gave his last $4 fucking to Yang, right? We're talking about it in videos. We're giving away our money, our hard-earned money, our paychecks, just to try to get this guy through. And Bloomberg's just like it ain't shit. And the media's eating it up, and his ads are going everywhere, and he's literally bought his way to 8%. So the media is really fucking important, and that's why it pisses me off, and it's so disappointing the way they've been handling things. And they cry and they talk about the most important thing. Well, for a long time, MSNBC let it slip. If you didn't see my last video, watch my last video. MSNBC said defeating Trump is important. MSNBC said that the DNC says defeating Trump is important, but defeating Bernie Sanders is even more important. So they literally got a hit on this man. But they cry about defeating Trump, defeating Trump, defeating Trump. And you've got the perfect candidate in front of your eyes to defeat Donald Trump. Andrew Yang is the perfect candidate to defeat Donald Trump, full stop. Full stop. He'd have a field day with Trump, full stop. That is inarguable. Inarguable. And that's what we're going to talk about. There's a lot to talk about the CNN town hall. I'm not going to try to condense everything into one video. I'll probably take little portions that happen at the town hall and talk about them individually in different videos. But in this video specifically, we're talking about Yang defeating Trump. And Yang makes a good point. Trump has thrown no shots at Andrew Yang. None. Zilch. Zero. Nada. And he knows that's not a contender he can go against. Now, Trump is the king of off-the-cuffness, especially on the campaign trail. He's hilarious. I don't give a fuck. Look, some people be like, we don't need a funny president. We need a competent president. I don't disagree. That still doesn't make him unfunny. He's fucking hilarious, right? He's great off the cuff. He knows how to play to a crowd. He knows how to run a rally. He knows how to read a room. And if you're doubting that, where the fuck have you been the last couple of years? Were you there for the 2015, 2016 election? He made mincemeat out of his opponents. You don't think he'll make mincemeat out of the Democratic Party? Out of all these people on stage? He'll eat them alive. As a matter of fact, I think this was during might have been before or after the Super Bowl. I can't remember. But they played word association with Democratic candidates. And they fed him some names and they had him react to the names. Okay? I'm going to play that clip. I thought it was hilarious. I'm going to play that clip and then we're going to come back.
This is going to be hard for you. This is called our lightning round here.
All right.
I'm just going to throw out a name, whatever comes to your mind.
Okay.
We'll start with Joe Biden.
I just think of Sleepy. I just watch him. He's Sleepy Joe.
Hunter Biden.
Where's Hunter? Where is he? He made millions of dollars. He went from having no job, no income. He had nothing. As you know, he had a very sad experience in the military. He has nothing. To making millions and millions of dollars a year, not just from Ukraine, from China and from other countries. How can you do this? This is crooked as hell. What they did is very dishonest.
Bernie Sanders.
Well, I think he's a communist. I mean, look, I think of communism when I think of Bernie. Now, you could say socialist, but did he get married in Moscow? And that's wonderful. Moscow's wonderful.
Might have been the honeymoon.
You don't think necessarily, well, whatever, but you don't necessarily think in terms of marriage, Moscow. And it's wonderful. I'm not knocking it, but I think of Bernie sort of as a socialist, but far beyond a socialist.
Elizabeth Warren.
At least he's true to what he believes. That's one thing. Because you mentioned now Elizabeth Warren. She's not true to it. I call her fairy tale. Because everything's a fairy tale. That's how Pocahontas got started. Everything's a fairy tale. This woman can't tell the truth.
Michael Bloomberg.
Very little. I just think of little. Now he wants a box for the debates to stand on. Okay, it's okay. There's nothing wrong. You could be short. Why should he get a box to stand on, okay? He wants a box for the debates. Why should he be entitled to that? Really? Then does that mean everyone else gets a box?
I guess if they want one, I will have to negotiate
well, the other thing,
boxes.
it's very interesting. Cory Booker and all these people couldn't get any of the things that Bloomberg's getting now. I think it's very unfair for the Democrats, but I would love to run against Bloomberg.
So, look, personally, I thought it was funny, especially the Bloomberg. He wants a box. You give him a box. Why does he get a box? Everybody should get a box. Give him a box. Like, it's hilarious. He would have a field day. Oh, my God, he'd eat Elizabeth Warren alive. So, Andrew Yang is the best person to beat Trump. And I know, look, I'm going to say it right now. I know a lot of you are going to disagree. And that's fine. We're allowed to disagree. As long as we do it civilly. I think Bernie Sanders has a chance. Bernie Sanders is the only other candidate that has a chance to go against Donald Trump. I know, calm down. I know a lot of you are freaking out right now. I see the comment section, all of you like, Bernie will get destroyed. I don't think Bernie will get destroyed. Bernie is the only other candidate that has a chance. And as a matter of fact, in the statement Andrew Yang makes, in the clip I'm going to play in a second, the only other person Andrew Yang even mentions is Bernie Sanders. He didn't mention Biden. He didn't mention Warren. He didn't mention Pete. He mentioned Sanders because Sanders would be the next contender to go against Donald Trump. Do I think Sanders would win? I don't know. It's up in the air. It would be an incredibly close call. Maybe too close for comfort. As a matter of fact, Yang, the guy we're all voting for, the guy we all want, said even with Sanders, it breaks even. Which goes back to my theory. The next best person after Yang would be Bernie Sanders. He'd probably break even with Donald Trump. And it would be very, very... You saw how close the Pete Buttigieg victory was versus Bernie? It'd be that kind of close. So, before you start going nuts, just know my theory is Sanders would be next in line as far as going up against Trump. Yang seems to have the same sentiment. We all know he's a smart motherfucker, right? He's a smart guy. He knows what he's talking about. And then everyone else would get eviscerated. Again, Sanders, even, it'd be really close. Things like saying, you're a communist, you're a socialist, they don't work. They've been calling him that forever. That doesn't work. That does not work on him, right? He'd have to find some other way of attack. And if he's smart, the people that, are feeding Trump what to do will tell him to talk about how expensive Medicare for all is. You got to hit him on policies and expenses and money and things like that. The calling him a socialist, the calling him a communist, that's not going to work. It's going to bounce right off. You've used it so much that it's no longer effective. You'd have to get him on things like Medicare for all and how expensive it is and how people's taxes are going up. There are ways to attack Bernie. But, the word association, the word things don't work on Bernie like it would with a Biden and a Klobuchar and things in Warren and shit like that. But Yang doesn't have any of these, right? There's no past record you can attack him on. He doesn't identify as a democratic socialist. He has new, innovative, and smart ideas, and he's thrown shots at Trump before, and Trump is just and if you look from the Trump campaign, Trump has said himself, there was leaked audio, it would have been really tough to beat Hillary if Bernie would have been her VP in 2016, because people fucking were Bernie or nothing. Even Yang was fucking Bernie, right? So Trump kind of fears Bernie a little bit. But then there's also, information that's come out about the Trump campaign that he really fears Yang. So he don't want nothing to do with Andrew Yang. And I think one of the main reasons Yang beats him isn't even policy-based. It's not even policy-based. It's a no shit Sherlock that Yang's better policy-wise. As a matter of fact, a lot of the people on stage who I don't fucking agree with, right? A lot of status quo candidates that I don't agree with probably would have slightly, if not far better. It goes from slightly to far better. Yang being far better, Klobuchar being slightly, right? Better policies than Donald Trump, right? So the beef with them two on stage isn't even going to be policy-based. Trump's not even going to try to go that route. Really, where we already know Yang beats him policy-wise, really where Yang shines is the stage presence, the mic presence, the playing to a crowd, the energy, the youthfulness, the aura. He has all that. Trump wouldn't know how to fucking attack him. How do you attack him? What do you do? What do you say? Where do you even go? What do you say? What he's going to talk about, you've never, served in any office before. Great, that's what we love. What else you got? I don't understand. Trump doesn't even have anything he can attack Yang on. Do you know what I'm saying? While Trump has a long history, both in the presidency and outside of the presidency, that you can destroy Trump on. He don't want that smoke. He doesn't want that smoke. So I'm going to play a clip from the CNN town hall, and it's going to be about Andrew Yang talking about why he can kick Donald Trump's ass. Let's watch.
I feel that you are the best equipped candidate to beat President Trump on the debate stage, and why?
Thank you for this question. I love it so much because the number one criteria that Democratic primary voters have for the nominee is what? Beat Donald Trump. That's right. And here's why I am the best person to beat Donald Trump in the general election. So I'm a numbers guy in New Hampshire, and people who are betting their hard-earned money on these head-to-head matchups have me as the heaviest betting favorite against Donald Trump in the general election. I'm the 3-2 favorite. Everyone else, including Bernie, is at best even money. So why is it that people think I'm the best, toughest matchup? Because 18% of college Republicans said they would choose me over Donald Trump in the general election. Because 10% of New Hampshire Trump voters in one poll said that they would choose me over Trump in the general election. You know who has already figured out that I'm his toughest matchup? Donald Trump. I am the only candidate in the field he has not tweeted a word about. And he has not tweeted a word about me for 2 reasons. Number one, he knows I'm better at the internet than he is. And number 2, his most potent attacks are that you're a corrupt DC politician, and none of this stuff works on me. One of his advisors was quoted in a meeting that was caught on film saying the candidate they're most worried about is Andrew Yang. And as more Democrats realize that I am the candidate that's best situated to defeat Donald Trump soundly in the general election, the stronger this campaign will grow and the more likely I become the nominee. Thank you.
All right. So let's talk about Mr. Yang, the only Democrat who's debated President Trump is Secretary Clinton, right? And she said that he stood behind her. She wrote that he stood behind her during a debate. And this is a quote, literally breathing down my neck. My skin crawled. She said that, right? I'm quoting. What do you do if he tries to intimidate you on stage?
Well, I think I make an incredible foil for Donald Trump because, I can make him seem ridiculous. Certainly, if he breathes down my neck, I would look around and I would just laugh at him, and my energy, I think, contrasts very, very nicely with him, where he's all bluster and braggadocio. I'm like Spock and ice to his fire. But the main reason why Trump voters are coming my way is that I'm laser focused on solving the problems that got him into the White House to begin with. The fact that many Americans feel left behind, the fact that we blasted away 4 million manufacturing jobs in the swing states that Trump needed to win, and that we need to actually rewrite the rules of this economy so that everyone feels included. Because the fact is, technology is getting stronger, faster, more capable all the time, and we are not. Aside from the young people in this room, most of the adults feel fortunate just to not get dumber on any given day. If we can find our keys, that was a good day. But the technology is ramping up faster and faster. It has already eliminated 4 million manufacturing jobs in the Midwest and is in the process of transforming economies right here in New Hampshire and around the country. As Amazon alone closes 30% of your stores and malls, retail clerks, the most common job in the economy, and 30% of those jobs are disappearing as we speak.
So yeah, really dope. Look, nobody lose faith yet. I was talking to multiple people, and they were talking about how, Clinton had 2% in Iowa, and he still, won. So do not lose faith. Do not lose hope. Let's keep grinding just as hard as we were. And let's keep that Yang momentum going. It's legit, even up till today, the last 2 days, just news feed, Yang, 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 Yang. I love this Yang guy. Just nothing but positive things about Yang. But again, you look at the media, they're not mentioning him. They're not putting him in pictures. They've literally already made up their mind that he's gone. And they're putting Klobuchar in there. They're putting Bloomberg in some pictures. They're putting, everybody in there. But they They've put Yang, like, if I was a candidate and I'm still in this shit, and they're not even putting me in the graphics, and I'm like, it's the fucking, it's go time, it's Iowa caucus time. Yang has a legitimate bone to pick with them since the beginning. Since the beginning, he has a legitimate bone to pick with them. All the media, CNN, MSNBC, PBS, Fox has been, positive in light of Yang, but he has a legitimate bone to pick with him because they have treated him so unfairly. Shades of Bernie in 2016, except a little worse. I'd say a little worse. So, yeah, if the DNC, if the Democratic Party truly wanted to defeat Donald Trump, instead of, backing and pushing Kamala Harris, instead of backing and pushing Pete Buttigieg, instead of backing and pushing Klobuchar, instead of backing and pushing Biden, the media darling, the person DNC should have been laser focused on was Andrew Yang. Full stop. Full stop. They dropped the ball on this one. Again. They dropped the ball again. And these caucuses don't work well for Yang. It really suppresses his support. It truly, truly does. These caucuses do not work well for Yang. It suppresses his support. And then it gives the imagery that Yang isn't doing as well as he should or getting, the support that he is, when truly he is. But it's the way the caucuses are set up and the way that it works that it really doesn't shed a light on how much support he's actually got, and has. If the media continues to play down Andrew Yang, that will destroy the Democratic Party. They had the perfect candidate. They had Republicans jump on board. They had past Bernie bros jump on board. They had people from all walks of life jump on board, and they really let this shit go. They really just, they like to lose. They like to lose. But even at the end of, the CNN town hall, and just like, they were talking, and all of them loved Yang. It's interesting. CNN's talking, they're like, if I was, a CEO, if I was whoever, I'd be trying to join something and do something with that Andrew Yang guy, because what the fuck, he's brilliant, he's smart, he's the future. Andrew Yang is the future. So they sit here and they say they love him, but you guys never really gave him a fair fucking shot. Let's watch that clip.
Figuring out what we're going to talk about tonight. That's how things work on TV. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, whatever time it is.
You think?
I said to Don, gosh, Don, I said, he won the night. He may have not won any votes, but Andrew Yang won the night. And if I owned any company in the world, I would try to hire him. I would have no idea what to do with him, but I know that he would make my company better. He's really smart. He was up here talking about statistics, opioid statistics, crime statistics. I mean, he was talking about world health. I don't know. He was talking about autism. I was like, where do you have space in your brain for everything you're talking about?
He had me with the getting rid of pennies. That was definitely, I am totally serious.
You seem like the candidate having the most fun. Embracing enjoying it.
Right.
All right, yeah.
All right, stick around, everyone.
So yeah, I'm not gonna hold you guys too long, but I am truly disappointed in the Democratic Party, not just for this Iowa shit, but me thinking back, going through every fucking video, the interviews I've done, the videos, the donations, everything, how hard we worked, and how the media just gave no shits about Andrew Yang. Like, they really dropped the ball. And people I've talked to, kind of said, and they said the same thing in 2016, they kind of said, the Democratic Party kind of deserves to lose to Trump again. You're looking at a gift horse in the mouth. They kind of deserve to lose to Trump again. And I don't think they're wrong. Like, something's got to teach. They've got to learn their lesson somehow. They've got to learn their lesson somehow. And losing to Trump may be it if Andrew Yang doesn't get through. You know, even my Republican colleagues who are diehard Trump supporters love fucking Yang. And out of their own mouths, I've said, like, listen, if Trump wasn't available, I couldn't vote for Trump. The only other person I can think of voting for is Andrew Yang. These are hardcore Republicans. Hardcore Republicans. So, yeah, Yang is the best to beat Trump. Not just on policy, but on energy and how he connects with people. Donald Trump ran as a populist, and he played to a crowd better than anybody at that time, and for a lot of people now. You know, the forgotten man will no longer be forgotten. I could shoot someone dead on Fifth Ave and they'd still vote for me. He just, man, he knew what he was doing. He talked about automation. He talked about job loss. He didn't go through or pull through with some of the things he said he was going to do, with a lot of the things, with most of the things. The only other person I can think of to counter that fully is Andrew Yang. So, anybody in the DNC watching this, which you're probably not. Anybody in the Democratic Party higher up that are watching this, which you're probably not. Get your shit together. Andrew Yang is who we need. Bernie's iffy. I love me some Bernie. He's my number 2. But he's iffy. Trump's approval rating just went up again. He's Teflon Don, right? That impeachment bullshit flopped, which we knew it was. His approval rating went up. His Republican rating is like 90%. It's utterly absurd. Why are you taking chances? Why are you taking chances? And by that, I don't mean, well, let's prop up a Pete Buttigieg. He'd eat him for breakfast. Andrew Yang's the way to go. Full stop. If you like what you see, if you like what you hear, please like, comment, subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. If you don't, let me know in the comment section why. I'm always down to talk about it. I have a Cash App, a PayPal, and a Venmo link in the description below. Please feel free to donate to the channel. Every bit helps. Hopefully I'll be talking to you guys soon. Have a good one. Peace.
Run free and dive into the sky. Hear the wind crying